Join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please come to order. We do have proof of posting in accordance with Chapter 551. The Texas Government Code is amended, known as the Texas Open Meetings Act. Any members of the public who wish to speak shall each have 3 minutes to address the court.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Rob. I'm with Grant Burks. We've done a lot of work with y'all. I visited with Judge Grant last week about opportunity for some FEMA services, FEMA grants, and TDM grants. We didn't put it on the agenda, but she wanted to, me to kind of discuss with y'all before that, to go out for an RFP to acquire our services, that as disasters happen and as your emergency management coordinator submits those damages to TDM, that money becomes available. If you move forward with that, it's a retainer type contract. For a certain amount of time. There's no out-of-pocket expense for that, just as those opportunities come up, those disaster declarations. There's one out right now, 5552. It had to do with some fire activities. Most of the time in this area, y'all know it's going to be flooding, drainage type projects. We've done a few of those with y'all in the past. So just giving y'all that information. If y'all want to do that on your next court, you'd have that agenda language. I could also present a little bit more. I don't know if you put that handout in the packet, but I could send y'all some information as well, a little bit more on that. Go out for the proposals for that, come back, and then you would award and sign that contract. And as those opportunities come up, we would bring that to you. Our FEMA services team would bring that to you and say, hey, this is available. With those grants, there's generally a 25% match, but it would be for roads and drainage type projects in general. Any questions?
This information?
Yes, you can. You're correct. You're correct on that.
Today's information.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, we'll go to item number 1, discuss jail and population issues. All right, Jerry, do you want to tell us a little about what you just...
Right now we're good. This is maybe a little over 3 weeks that we've been okay. It's been rotating out pretty good, but we still only have 4 male beds and 2 female beds. But it's been people that's been coming in and been getting out. So right now we're rotating pretty good and have been for those few weeks.
And tell us about the population around that you have some beds available in case of need.
Yes, we're still waiting on Anderson. We do have a contract with them, but we still can't get in. But Henderson is now opened up since Anderson has gotten their inmates back. So last week they had 10 beds available that we could use, but that was last week. We had to get the contract. We're on the agenda to get the contract done today. So we may be able to go back there. We used to house there before, but then we couldn't when Anderson sent their population over there. So. And that's closer than Falls. Anything closer is beneficial. Yeah. So right now we're okay. We're rotating like normal at this time, which our normal's not necessarily great, but it's better than what it was for a while. Yeah.
Maybe everybody be fine.
That's right. Why don't you work on that? Anything else with that? Thanks for the update. That's a relief. number 2 is to discuss proposal agreement with the architects, Sterling and Cat Architects. And this proposal is for architectural drawings for the construction and administration for the bidding packet, basically. And there's some reimbursables for civil engineering or any engineering as needed, and that's the amounts. May or may not go up to that amount.
Is it reimbursed?
Well, we're not sure if we're gonna be able to put that into the grant funds itself.
Okay.
Or maybe if we can just get credit for what we have done with them. What we got before, they gave us credit against 15%. To give them the 12% because we have already paid up front on getting the master plan and the documents that they needed, and we have paid for that. So they gave us credit for that. So we're thinking that that's the same way it would work.
We don't have to pay this all at once, this is,
No.
said we did build at different places.
We just approved this, I think they sent maybe a $2,500 request so far.
Once we did this, they'll go out for bid.
That's to finish the bid packet.
We had never done this before, the proposal to the schoolhouse, in years past that we've done one.
We did the one for the master plan, and that was about $240,000. And they did complete the master plan, I think 95% is what they had out. And then we were supposed to pay 15% for the grant. That's our percentage, 15%. But of that, in that 15%, they are allowing us a credit for that $240,000 that we've already paid to get that completed. And so instead of paying 15%, now we're paying 12% match. Because they're giving us credit for that $240-something thousand.
And we're hoping we'll get some credit of this,
Yes.
but there's no guarantees.
Well,
We-
when you read it, there's two different places that they might allow it, but I can't say definitely. And we called the lady, but she had called us back. But nonetheless, if we want to get our architectural and construction drawings done, we need to go forward with this.
Make a motion, go forward with it.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3 is to consider and authorize the county judge to file notice of contest of the well permit applications of Pine Bliss LLC and Redtown Ranch Holdings LLC with Nueces and Trinity Valley Groundwater Conservation District and engage Allison, Bass, and McGee LLP to provide legal assistance. In some of the discussions that we have seen, they have also included in those discussions that they might be looking to do some under our aquifers also, some of these wells, deep wells.
Man, you want to tell them your story?
Well, I've been notified that they have bought, someone has bought 4 acres of property in my precinct, and they are going to drill some what for the purpose of water wells. Now, I'm not sure if it's aqua, water, or something, and I'm not sure sure if that's for the community or if that's for somebody that's going to come here and do the same kind of thing they're comfortable over there. I'm just doing the research. Now, this one's under the East Texas groundwater deal, so it'll be through our county. I mean, I think through our group.
It is Texas,
Mhm.
it is Texas.
Yeah, and so hopefully our people that are on that board will take a look at that and see how it's going.
We have, let me just read you this little short thing about Mid-East Texas water. When it was created, it said, the water table in Madison, Leon, and Freestone counties have been falling over the last several decades. And that was one of the purposes that we did enter into that Mid-East Texas water. It's the purpose of this district to manage this process so that allowed production will not have the effect of depleting the aquifer to the extent that wells currently operating go dry or have to be deepened in order to get water. It's also the duty of the district to protect existing wells against the adverse impact of a large well or series of wells in the immediate vicinity, as have happened in other areas. So they do monitor them, and they have geologists that does all of that to determine. But nonetheless, when we're talking about what's going on in the other counties, I think our show of support is important.
It could still be a direct impact.
It could. It sure could. It sure could.
I think we need to have.
And we may be next.
Tap into there. Can you do that?
Wait, say that again?
Well, we're talking about Red Town and all that business over there.
Well, and that's what number 3 is. We do have.
Yeah.
All right. This is the letter from Allison Bass and McGee. For your consideration enclosed, please find a contract for professional services between Freestone County and their group for assistance with filing notice of contest of the well permit applications. So, there you go. I was looking over here.
Yeah, no, ma'am. So I spoke with Jim Allison, and I think right now, I don't have my head wrapped around all of this, right? It's somewhat complicated, and aquifers and things of that nature. His big deal was we get them to file the contest along with the other counties. That puts our name in the vote, right? And then as it goes, we will discuss further about how this specific project impacts us and the amount of money we want to spend to litigate that. We may not spend anything if it doesn't impact us, but I think it's a show of support, one, to say, hey, we don't like what's going on and we want to show our support to the surrounding counties, but also keep our name in the fight. If it does come out that there's some study or something out there that this does have an impact to Freestone County, now we can talk to Allison and Bass about further litigation and kind of what we want to do. So kind of just reserving a spot is what this is doing today.
Does private property rights come into this?
That's a real good question. I don't know. The good thing with Allison and Bass is they are fantastic. That's why I would suggest engaging them for their services, because I think they have their head wrapped around how to fight this. And again, Andy, I think that's a good question. I think that's a question for this court to take up later on if we were gonna ask to litigate. Does that make sense? I think
it's a fine line.
There's rules already
on crossing over and stepping on property rights.
correct.
You know, so it's, I mean, you know, we're trying to protect our aquifer, but yet we're, you know, it's a fine line.
Absolutely, and just to make sure, Will, the way I'm looking at this, and kind of for purposes of the commissioner's court, is I don't think y'all are making a call on that either way right at the moment.
Right, yeah. We're making a statement, we don't want to put up with this commercialized, well, and that's what I'm calling, I'm labeling it that.
If it's going to affect
Right,
water
our
for
water.
our people.
For our people.
Yes, sir, and then also, if you kind of boil it down even further, we're almost saying we don't know yet which way we're gonna go. but we've got to file a contest. That way in the future, if we're like, hey, we don't want this type of project, we have the ability and the right to move forward with litigation. If you don't do the contest now before, I think the 19th
I was thinking that was the
is the deadline, so it's almost just, again, to make it even more innocent on our part, it's really just filing the contest to keep our name in the boat, and then if something were to come up later, we can make a decision, private property
And
rights.
if our signing them helps them, that's
In the
the
record,
goal,
that'll help
yeah.
us.
But there are different permits for different, I mean, Jerry John's here, I mean, he's got an agricultural well permit for irrigation. And they're strict on you about that, but
Yeah.
somebody drilling a well for selling water to a municipality is a whole nother permit, isn't it?
Yes, if I can take the time just for 3 minutes. I read through all the permits over the weekend. I read through Mid-East Texas Groundwater Conservation District. They have a limit on the maximum capacity of 3 acre-feet for every surface acre. The problem you're gonna run into now is Nature's Trinity Valley does not have that limit. They have no limit. So that's why they're permitted for over 4 acre-feet, which is 10 billion gallons a year. That's just Redtown. I did not read the Pine Bliss, didn't have time. I think the struggle that's gonna come in is they do not have that. Now, they can set that limit. Nature's Trinity Valley can set that limit at anything they want. So if there's enough people that force them into doing something, like Brian said, you get your name in the hat, the bigger that group is, then the more you got a chance of fighting. I think the other thing is what's cost effective. If it takes 10 billion gallons, say it takes 8 billion for them to be cost effective to ship that water to Dallas, San Antonio, wherever they're gonna ship it, then you only grant them 5 billion gallons a year, then they say, well, the project's not worth it, and, you know, the litigators won. Will makes a good point. You know, we don't want them coming over here. I don't want them telling me I can't drill a well on my place. But they have to set a limit. Mid-East Texas did that.
That's your group, that's John Pryor, that's us.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah.
Mid-East Texas. But Nature's Trinity Valley did not. The other thing that can be done, Matt Uliana is a hydrologist, and that's who needs to do the study. Well, he's moved to Australia, we can't get him. So, but David Bailey, I talked to him again this morning, and I'm sure Brian will talk to him shortly. They have a hydrologist on retainer. And so it's another guy from the same company that, but what happens in aquifers is just like the top of the ground, you got water levels in those aquifers. And if their water level is lower than ours, then they drain ours before they drain theirs. And so what happens is curving and in them far-reaching places, there's no water the other side of curving. We've had that study done on Pleasant Grove. We need a well in that country. We can't get it, there's no water. So we have to pump that water. Pumping water is very expensive. So there's a cost there that just don't work. So curving is going to drain before us. And so the further out, those outlying areas, and the Carrizo-Wilcox aquifers, those are the two aquifers that they're tapping into. And so if their elevation, and I don't know that, they may be at a higher elevation and never affect us. We may be lower and we're good. You know, I don't even know what the depth of the wells will be. They don't either right now. They haven't even drilled a test well. But the rule of capture in the state of Texas is they bought the land and they own those water rights under that land.
That's right.
And so if they do not set that limit that limits the amount of water they can pump, then they can pump it till it don't pump. And nobody's at fault by law. But we hope that Nations Trinity Valley Groundwater Conservation District will step in and set that limit, or put the price of that water so high that they won't do it. And they can set that water rate too. I pump 8 million gallons a year, and it costs me about $3. That's from Mid-East Texas. It's very, very cheap. It's like a penny per 1,000 gallons or whatever it is. It's
You
cheap.
talking about there at the corner?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But they can set that limit kind of whatever they want to. But it's definitely something that we'll look at. I will check on that well there that you're talking about. I'll check on that today and see if that is another commercialized deal.
Why
If they were
how do you get water from here to San Antonio?
big pipe, and you'll get government funding.
Well,
You'll get government funding.
will they have eminent domain on that?
Probably so, because it affects mass people.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to get that pipe,
I
and the
understand
government
that.
pays for it.
I understand that, I know exactly where Atmos is right now.
Yeah. That's right.
But you saw that's 52 miles,
Yeah.
on the way from here to Austin.
Yeah, the word is they're probably gonna pump it to Richland Chambers and put it in a pipe and it'll be in the same pipeline as the lake water. But, this is already treated, or it doesn't have to be treated because it's coming out of the ground. Lake water's different. Top of the ground water's different than in the ground water. It's a whole different set of rules, so, anyway. Appreciate your time.
Jim, I have a question. I know that some of the people up there were in this, up here in the lake, they got something that said they could oppose, or sign a petition, something saying that they didn't want it, because they got 4 acres and they're gonna be stuck in this, I think it's 200 gallons a minute or whatever. I don't know if that's a lot or not. But those people were gonna protest it because they were saying they were taking water out from under their land on both sides, out of their, and it would affect their levels for their cattle or for their agriculture, for whatever. Now, another thing up there, the lake up there, they have a big area up there, and looks to me like that would be infringing on what Tarrant County would want them to do. I'm not that well versed on it, you know what I'm saying?
Well, Mid-East Texas, they have a 3 acre foot maximum capacity, or maximum pumpage. So if you own 4 acres, you can pump 12 acre feet of water. An acre feet of water is 362,000 gallons, so you do the math, and it comes up to lots of water for 4 acres. That's all they can get. So they can pump it as fast as they want, but when they might reach that maximum deal, they're shut down for the year. So I would say that they don't have enough land to really hurt much.
Okay.
But you're correct. That aquifer is, it goes out under everybody's neighbors and everything. But the drawdown. The beauty of our deal is we got a lot of water right here. I've had my wells for 12 years, and they check them once a year. David Bailey or Alphonse, he wants to, and there's 0 drawdown on my water since they were drilled. So, everything that's being pumped around here is not hurting the aquifer. But if you pull 10 billion gallons a year and send it out of the county that it's in, there's a problem with that. That's a lot of water.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Just real quick, just as far as cost-wise to engage Allison Bass, I know it's $500 for them to move forward with the contest. But again, kind of what was alluded to, there's going to be studies and things like that. There'll be further discussions about what Freestone County needs to do in the future, whatever decision y'all want to make either way. But that, again, gets our name in the hat.
I did not see that, but the original retainer fee is $500.
That's what I was told by Jim.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I do not know, Judge.
It gives you per hour how much each person gets.
Yes, ma'am. That's what he told me over the phone would be to just get this part done, and then kind of see where it goes from there. Yes, ma'am.
Any other discussion?
Make a motion, we authorize the county judge to file notice of contest for permit application to Comm LLC and Red Town Roads Holdings.
A second.
Thank you. Motion carried. All right.
And Judge, do you have both of those packets up there, the retainer agreement and
All I
the,
have is the retaining agreement.
here is the notice, the contest, Judge, I don't know if you want to take, that came from Allison and Bass. I don't know if you want to take time to read it before,
Yes.
I've read it, it looks boilerplate, whatever other county, it has your signature line there at the
Okay,
end.
all right.
Here, Don, I was told by a guy that's in the know, they're putting in an 84-inch pipeline from Cedar Creek to Lake Palestine. That's a big pipe.
That's a pretty good pipe.
To
I
have
haven't
those
heard
two
that.
lakes together.
Really?
Yeah. Just came through the oil field because there's some wells, some pipelines they're crossing and, you know, and different things that there's. That's a,
One of them lakes must have a lot more watershed, catch a lot more than the other one.
but it's all going, Cedar Creek's tied in, going north too.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they built it here.
Where does it go? They drink that in? I never knew about it, I didn't know.
San Antonio's pretty well the hot topic right now, all that, the Ogallala and all those aquifers down there, they just, they low.
Yeah.
And they're not catching any water, you know. Takes a long time to get the water 500 foot down in the ground
Did you look
for
up
those
any
things to heal up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was always under the impression, our
They have
Wilcox,
for the people.
it starts charging in Arkansas.
Mhm.
Is that right? That's the way I was always explained to me. Our area, a lot of our water, when it runs, you know, it starts charging up there, surface water up there starts charging our aqua.
Get this one?
Is that right?
That's right, it runs all down through here and then you got these little bitty fingers that go out. And if you hit one of those fingers, you're pretty good, but those fingers are gonna play out before the main body.
Yeah.
And if you're just in a finger, you're susceptible to losing water. And then it runs all down through here and then runs on down into Mexico, the Carrizo. Wilcox, Carrizo's real close, they're about 50, 60 feet apart. And they'll, you know, their water kinda commingles, but the Hooper, it's a real shallow water, that's what that fish farm was gonna pull water out of. And so it was, Matt Uliana did that study and he said, it ain't gonna hurt you at all. You know, it took years for the Hooper to ever bleed any water in the
That's some metal iron. That's
It's high in iron.
And then they're gonna figure out that water's gonna be hard to work with to raise a fish, you know, but anyway, that'd be their problem.
Thank you for coming today.
Yes,
You
ma'am?
bet, thank you.
All right, we'll go to item number 4, which is to consider and approve the Henderson County housing agreement.
And that agreement's, like all other agreements, and I believe it's $52.
$52, yeah.
That's a good thing. And,
Happy days.
yeah, and hopefully that keeps up. And I also put
I
in,
hope that Youngstown County is not listening because we're paying them much less than that, so.
another thing I wanted to point out too, though, is just because we get these contracts doesn't mean they're taking everyone in our jail.
Sure.
That's still an issue. But it does give us another avenue of possibility.
Sure.
And it, you know, I did email Johnson County about housing some of the folks in this jail. I never got a response, so I'm gonna check back, I'm gonna double back today and, see if we can get a response, even though it is 2.5 hours away. I mean, just,
In a pinch.
yeah, in a pinch, so.
All right.
Motion to approve the Henderson County housing agreement.
Second.
In favor, aye. Any opposed? None, motion carried. 5 is to discuss the group medical insurance proposal. Our broker, is, I guess we need to decide, do we want to go out for bids? We still don't have any information from our current, insurance people about what their amount's gonna be. Do we want to go out for bids? That's what- He will do the package then.
Our broker's gonna take care of that, right?
And send to insurance companies that are interested, so that if they want to, the fellow that's gonna come Wednesday, he can submit a bid packet, or be sure that, Ryan gets his name and information, so he will get that opportunity to submit that.
Out of curiosity, is the guy that we have that we got insurance with, is he planning on being here?
What to do.
The one that came, I'm just saying, the one that came and told us the story, and I'm just curious if he was gonna be here.
Come out the broker.
Whoever we went through with the insurances last time, but.
Our broker was the main one we come in
I've
contact with.
ever met him.
No, we didn't.
The insurance company was the one that everybody had a freaking problem.
All right, for clarity, are you talking about the broker, Brian, Collins, the one that gets all of the?
Yeah, he's talking about Brian with our current company.
Hansco.
Yeah, okay. Yes, he comes. I know he's had several meetings up here with different people that have had issues.
Yes.
Still having issues?
I haven't, and I don't use it, so.
Yeah, we did on the front end here before last, you know, getting some medications approved. But that's one reason we stayed with it when it went up, just because we had to put our people.
All right. So do we have a motion to go out for bids for insurance?
So make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Any comments?
Okay, Jim Hollister, he's been out there with me, our state,
T.D.M.
he's what now?
T.D.M.
Okay,
Texas
now
Department of
what?
Emergency Management.
Do he and Leonard, are they tied together, or what?
No.
They're here just to help
Got
us.
keep records for,
To help us.
got keep records for Jim and for Leonard, pictures and,
I wouldn't think so. I would think, because Leonard will be the one that's submitting. Isn't that correct?
well, the Texas Task Force showed up,
Okay.
and I don't know how they got word.
It was 15 of them,
Probably,
15 of them.
oh, that's the people that.
They were here
To check
for the-
about.
We had 4 or 5 trucks, and every one of them was going to boat, and this and that, and,
They came to see, because of the flooding, they came to see if there were any people that were in.
they checked on something.
They're doing welfare
They did,
checks
Welfare
after they got
checks.
through with the water rescue on
Did
Highway
they go on
80.
the water rescue? Did they go on the water rescue?
That's where
Did
they-
they actually have a boat out there? I mean, were they in the water or just out there?
Boat you almost back over.
Yeah.
It was out there.
It was out there.
What I'm saying is,
The
they
sheriff's
checked,
clinic.
they checked on
The sheriff's clinic
ours,
did
they
it.
did in road with people on the other side of it, they checked on those boats, and I need to somehow thank them, but I don't,
Just
just make sure everybody's okay.
They
Wellness check.
Wellness check.
Mr. Bass came by, he said there wasn't anybody over there. He told me that he was out, so didn't have to look for him. And there was a guy that come up there that was right there across the ditch. He come down where we're at and said, asked me if I seen a cell phone. And I
They
said,
said, correct.
Andy, I'm trying to be nice. He come down and asked me if I seen a cell phone. I said, well, if it watch this far down here, it's probably not any good. So he said, well, thank you, I appreciate it. But I thought if we find it, we'll bring it in.
That's that space we dedicated out there.
Andy.
All right, anything else? If not, do we have a motion to dismiss?
I'll make that motion.
We still need Leonard, never got